Hello, welcome back to Unsung Heroes MSU Edition Episode 2. Today we are at the library to interview our second guest. Let's go and see who it is. Hello Monika, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Priska.
Well, thank you for accepting to join the project. Before we dive any deeper, do you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. My name is Monika Antonelli. I'm the Outreach Librarian at Minnesota State University, Mankato.
Can you tell us a little bit about when you first came in at MSU?
Okay. I came to MSU in March of 2007, and they hired me to be the Outreach Librarian. They did not have an Outreach Librarian, and it was my job to develop this position.
Okay. What is an outreach librarian and what do you do?
That's a good question. My job was to promote the library, both on campus and to the community. So to do programming, focus information on our resources and things that we can do for people on campus. So just promotion, a lot of promotion.
I find that concept interesting because in the recent years, with like the advancement in technology, people have a different perception of the word library or just libraries in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that among the numerous libraries that there are in the world, even in Minnesota or in Mankato, libraries have gone through many changes.
Yeah.
From your perspective, why are libraries still important and relevant, especially in this digital age?
Okay. Libraries are important because they are a place where everyone's welcome. So it's one of the few places, this is for public libraries, it's one of the few places in society you can go if you don't have any money. Like everyone's welcome there. And it's a place of knowledge. You can go there to learn about anything and you can ask any questions. I mean, isn't that an amazing thing?
It is.
On campus, our primary clientele are students, so students are paying to be here, but we also support the community too, so community members can come here. But students can come here and they can ask us anything. We'll help them, whatever their question is, we'll help them. We'll either get them to the right place, or if they're doing research, we'll help them find their research. We help them with citing their research. So libraries are a place that supports everybody. They are a symbol of our democracy. It's a place to learn, and it's a welcoming place.
I like how you say it's welcoming because I feel like no matter your interest, you'll definitely find something at a library. If you like piano, if you like music in general, video games, if you like cooking, if you want to learn about politics, if you want to learn about geography, anything you can think of, best believe you can find something at a library, especially at our library. What is one common misconception that you think people have of libraries or librarians in general?
That we're just about books. That we're more than just books, right? We do have a lot of books.
Yeah.
But we also have things like you can check out cameras, you can check out laptops. We have a podcast studio on the third floor. So we're about knowledge and information, community. It's a place you can go to study, get a room, meet people. We have games downstairs, and people can check those out. We have a puzzle table where people can go take a break and work on a puzzle. And then we do programming. We've done programming on playing games, and then we've done programming on the Holocaust, you know, the Holocaust exhibit that we have here in the library. So as you mentioned earlier, there's something for everyone here, and it's bigger than just books. It's also about community. It's about information and community, I think.
Definitely. You were talking about, as you were talking about all the things that the library has to offer, I was thinking about if you could share a bit about how your team, like the people you've worked with, how you guys have changed certain things in the library throughout the years to kind of appeal to the mass in a way, like remain relevant, but also adapt to the quick changes that are going in the world. What are some changes that you guys have done?
I think one thing is our 24/7 Ask a Librarian service. So we have a service that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, if you're writing a paper and you need to find an article or how to cite an article, you can go to the service and you'll get help. Now, I won't be there at 2 o'clock in the morning. We partner with libraries around the world, literally around the world. And we all pull together to help our students wherever they are. So I do work on this service in the afternoons. I help students in like California and England, and I help their students. And it could just be, there's somebody making noise on the 3rd floor in England, and it's like, well, how do I help them? But I'll find a way. I'll find them a phone number or to get someone to help them. So that's kind of a very innovative program, is our 24/7 chat that students can use.
Thank you for sharing about that. I learned about it very recently, actually, even though I've been here for years. So that's cool to know that it's been something that has been impactful even for librarians, like in the terms of services that you guys like to offer. But I can't imagine that there are only changes that have happened. There has to be a few stuff that remained, constant, yet impactful. What would you say is one thing that has remained constant about MSU and meaningful to you throughout the years?
Getting help from a librarian, like you can make an appointment to get one-on-one help with a librarian. So that's a constant. And so you could come in, you could say, right now, Monika, I'd like to meet with you. Okay, let's set up a time and we'll work. Tell me what you were looking for and I will help you. I could maybe do some research before we met and share it with you, or we could do research together when we meet. But getting help directly from a librarian, I think that's a constant that's been going on.
I don't know if you would remember this, but one of the first few memories that I have of you was reaching out to you about Maverick first.
Okay.
I used to be the graduate assistant.
Okay, yeah.
And I think last year I reached out and I was like, hey, we're revamping our website, and we would like to know if you would still want to be one of our if you would want to be listed as one of our advocates, and you said yes. Can you share a bit about what that matters to you?
Why that matters to me? It's because, I was one of the first people in my family to go to school, and so I didn't know how to do college. So I did a lot of things wrong, and I think if you're not used to, there's a lot of rules, hidden rules on campus that you may not know, And so to be someone that students can turn to for advice, I think that's important. Or just encouragement, you know, like, have you filed to graduate? Do you know how to do that? I mean, you know, people can miss deadlines and things like that.
It's when I hear you talk, I can see that as a person, you're just more than just a librarian.
Mm-hmm.
You're a librarian, but you're also, like we just said, a Maverick first advocate.
Yeah.
And I think you have side hustles and hobbies that and I bet you all those hobbies will like involve helping other people in a way. But you know, I was wondering if there was one interaction with a student or actually anyone here on campus that stuck with you, or like something that happened and you're like, this is what I do. Is there ever be a moment like that that you're willing to share with us?
Oh, that's a good question. I just met with a young man, as you know, that one of the things I did in my life is I was a voice actor also for
I will be talking
for
about
a cartoon, and this young man wanted to be a voice actor. So we met and I talked with him and shared advice on what I thought he could do to improve his skills and improve his chances of succeeding. So, and that meant a lot to him, and it was, you know, nice to connect in that way.
So, you just talked about a cartoon.
Yeah.
I know what cartoon it is. And I don't want to brush it off. So, do you mind sharing about that? First of all, what cartoon is it?
Yeah, actually it was two.
Oh.
Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
So I did both of those.
Okay.
I started with Dragon Ball.
Okay.
And they're popular anime series. I worked for a company called Funimation in Texas. I used to live in Texas and work in Texas as a librarian.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Did you find some overlap between your creative work and, let's say, your position as an outreach librarian at MSU?
Well, just maybe things like when you hit fear, you know, that means you're growing. You know, when something happens, you have an opportunity, but you hit this a scary opportunity, that's a sign of growth. So we always want to keep growing in our careers. So when that's a little signpost that I would encounter in both, you know, as a actor and as a librarian, trying new things.
I have looked you up a little bit on Google.
Oh, okay. All right.
You have a Wikipedia page. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I saw that you were a co-editor of Greening Libraries.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a book that I wrote in 2008 with one of my colleagues here, Mark McCullough. We were the editors. We pulled this book together on greening libraries. So I noticed that there was a lot of libraries that were building new buildings that were sustainable buildings, you know, using things like solar panels or just different, you know, recycled materials maybe for flooring, and they were just doing a lot of really neat stuff. And if you had a building in a town that was trying to do more of these sustainable building practices, many times it was the library building. And so this book is based on this movement, and I actually coined the phrase the Green Library Movement. So if you ever see that, that comes from the book. Okay. And an earlier, well, actually it comes from an article I wrote called The Green Library Movement. So we documented it in this book of all the things that are happening. And then I just had another book come out in 2021. I was a co-editor with 3 other colleagues, and it was on sustainability in libraries. So we've moved from greening libraries to sustainable and sustainability in libraries. So that's kind of like my passion in my profession, was sustainability.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm part of student government, and I hear often about the process of like maybe not getting rid of certain books, but I've heard that there will be books that will be removed from the library, and then but they will still be available somewhere else. It's so confusing to me.
Mm-hmm.
But is that part of the Green Library movements also, or?
No, that's the Green Library movement is about things like having special collections, like a seed library in your library, where people can check out seeds, actually take them home and grow them for free. So the community is preserving the seeds, the natural habitat, the natural seeds from your area, heirloom seeds, and sharing them. So that's something that's a very Green Library thing to do, to have a seed library. Another thing a library might have is a tool lending library. So you can go to your library and check out a shovel, or a sewing machine, or a camera, or an apple cider press. And so we don't all have to buy those things. We can share, because libraries are about sharing. We're very green. We share things. So I was a co-author of an article called Libraries in the Donut Economy. And the donut is not like donuts we eat, but the donut is the sweet spot that we live in on the earth, that if people need a certain amount to live a happy life, a healthy life, you need a certain amount of resources: food, health, shelter. You need a certain amount of those things to have a good life. But that's one side of the donut. The other side of the donut is if we use up too much stuff. So we use up too much water, we don't have enough water, or we pollute our air, so people have difficulty breathing. So we want to make sure people have enough stuff and don't use too much stuff, and that's the donut we want to live in. So libraries can help people do that, because we're about sharing, and we can share lots of things. We can share knowledge, which is what we do. We share books. We share the internet. You know, people can come to the library and use the internet. They don't have to have the internet at home. And they can also check out seeds, or they can check out a tool. So we're about sharing. And we support the donut economy.
I like that. If you can, you could record an audio book about your own life, or your own experiences, and everything that you have done or are interested in. What title would you give it?
She tried to make a difference.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, I try to do what I can to help. An example that happened a long time ago, it was 2016 and 2017, I worked with a group of people to hold something called reskilling festivals. So a reskilling festival is where we had people come together and be teachers, and they offered to teach people how to can, how to sew a button on, how to raise chickens, how to raise bees, how to hang up wash, if you don't have a dryer, how to spin wool. So we had these festivals where people could come and learn how to do these skills. And I kind of think of these skills as maybe things that our grandparents knew or our great-grandparents knew, but in a world that we're having to face depletion, and at that time there was a real issue with the cost of gas, so people were having to make do, like make their dollars stretch. They needed ways to just figure out how to do things a little more cost effective, like cooking food instead of going out and things like that. So so holding these reskilling festivals, they were so much fun to do. And we did also a sustainability expo here on campus. So that was really fun. We did it in the gym. Which gym was it? It was on campus.
Is it Auto Rec?
Yeah, I think it was maybe over in the Taylor Center we did it.
Okay.
Was it in the Taylor Center? But or maybe no, it was in the women's gym. I think we held it in the women's gym. But yeah, we did a lot of fun stuff like that, and I really enjoyed being a part of that and working with people who had a vision and wanting to make the world better. It was just really fun.
Now that you're about to retire, what would be some piece of advice that you would give to the next generation of librarians?
I think is find your tribe. Find the people you can work with to do these things, because you can't do them alone. And it's so much more fun to do it with people, but find people that you can work on projects with. And we do that. I do that here with Robin Becker over in English, where she does the Good Thunder reading series, and she hosts it in the library. So it's just really fun to work with another faculty member on campus, supporting her work, and then having this amazing program in the library. So, look for ways that you can partner with others. I think that's really important.
I'm going to sidetrack just a little bit. Do you have a favorite book? And if you do, what it is about?
Oh my gosh, a favorite book. I don't have a favorite book, but a book I've been thinking about a lot right now is J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings series. And I've been thinking a lot about it because I take solace in the advice. It's fiction, but it seems like what the characters go through is helpful advice to what we're living through here in America. A darkness comes to the Shire, and the eye of Sauron is turned on, people, and they're being oppressed, and some just normal people have to go on a journey to right this wrong, and they have to make sacrifices, and things will never be the same for the Shire. They cut down the great tree, and that tree will never come back. It's gone. And right now we're losing a lot of things in this country, that they're being lost. But the simple acts of kindness that we can do for each other, that is our strength. So Sam takes care of Frodo and cooks him dinner. Just the simple fact of maybe having a friend over and cooking dinner, that is the power to stand up to the forces of darkness that we're experiencing right now in our country. And I take a lot of solace from how literature can give us hope and inspire us.
Oh, thank you for sharing. I've never read it or like read the series, nor watched the movies, but I've seen some stuff on the internet, and I find it interesting how even in those fictional things we can still find ways of relating, find wisdom, and just even if we all find wisdom, we might not get the same moral story type of thing from those books or those movies. Like what you learn or what you get from that can be totally different from someone else, but at the end of the day we're all learning, we're all growing with much more knowledge and just more wisdom, so I'll definitely add it to my very long list of things to check out.
Yeah, well, you could just watch the movie.
Yeah. Are the movies as good as the books?
Well, no, but
exactly.
I mean, no, but the movies are, maybe a little bit more approachable. I have some problems with the books too, but I do like that it's the small things, it's friendship that actually is what is the power that helps really overturn the immense forces of evil. It's friendship. And we all can be a friend, We
can try.
Yeah. Back in 2017, I made a movie.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can watch it. It's online here. It's called 2 Weeks in May. And the movie is about the history of MSU back in 1972 during the Vietnam War. There was a lot of protests here on campus. I don't know if you know about this. Yeah, so this movie is about what was happening in 1972 and what happened here at MSU. And I wanted to make this movie because I wanted to capture those voices, kind of like what you're doing now, before we lost them. And since that movie's been made, one of the people in it has passed away, so that's very sad. But these are people who were involved. What happened in May of 1972 is there was a huge protest in Mankato, and it was so large that they took over 169 and they shut down the highway in protest of the Vietnam War and the bombings that were taking place. And if you walk around campus, you're going to see the vestiges. You've seen the monuments for Vietnam, and that here lies the death of, there's a stone over there, I forget what it says. Yeah, so those are all from that time period. So if you watch the movie, you'll find out more. But what I did is it was the sesquicentennial of MSU was coming up. So that's the 150th year anniversary of MSU was 2017. And I thought we needed to do something kind of big for that. So I took film classes and worked with students from the film class. So it's a student created film. But I wrote the script, I did the research, I cast the voice actors, and we all worked together to make this, I think it's 50 minutes long film, but it's the history of MSU from the 1970s. Yeah, it's called 2 Weeks in May. So that's something I'm really proud of. For the sesquicentennial, it was one of the big programs that we did for the anniversary, and we had about 300 people come to the showing. people from the community came, and it was well-received film, and because a lot of the people who came to see it were probably participated in the event. So it was something I'm very proud of, that I was able to give the university to keep this history. And another piece of history that I'm very proud of that I was able to capture was, are you familiar with the 38+2 Memorial Ride in Mankato? It happens on December 26th. So Mankato has a very sad history. In 1862, it had the largest mass execution in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
The hanging of the 38 Indians on December 26th. So about 50 years ago, was it 50 years ago? I don't remember when it started, but a local man, indigenous, native gentleman, and I'm sorry I can't remember his name, started this ride, a memorial ride, as a healing ride for the community. And it was, what year? I think it was 2022 that was the last ride. So they had felt like they had completed the healing process, and they were going to end this ride, the 38+2 Memorial Ride. They have started up again doing rides, but it's a new ride. It has a different focus. This was laying to rest the I don't know what you call it, just the sorrow and the pain of those events, the 38+2. But I filmed it, with my phone. I filmed the last ride, and then I gave it to archives. So we can preserve that. Mm-hmm. So we have that piece. So like 50 years from now, if people want to see what that is, we have it. And I help to keep that piece of history. So, and advice to people, look, how can you help preserve history? We all can just do a little bit to preserve. You're doing a little bit right now. You're preserving some history right now.
We're trying.
See? So I think those are the two things I wanted to share with you.
What legacy do you hope to leave behind once you have retired?
This space right here is, I think, part of my legacy, because I'm the Outreach Librarian, but for many, many years, I've been here 17, so probably for 15 years, I didn't have a space to do programming. And finally, about 2 years ago, I was able to convince them that this would be a great place to do programming. And so for the last 2 years, this place has been used for so many different programs, and it's wonderful because the furniture is mobile and you can move it around, and we have had lectures in here. For family weekend, I had a puzzle race in here, and I had all these families come and have a race to put together a puzzle. We had game night here. So I think in the library, one of my legacies is really pushing that we had a space in the library where we could do programming in the library. Because before that, there wasn't really a space to do it. So in the early years, I would do programming in CSU, and people would say, well, why are you doing programming in the CSU? Well, because you don't have a space for me to do it here. But it took a lot of years. I wish we could have done it sooner. But you can see, we just did a program. Well, the Good Thunder program was here yesterday morning, and then the Holocaust exhibit had school children come and were in this space, and then the day before, that was Wednesday, in the afternoon, we had a distinguished lecture about Afrosia. Dr. Afrosia Anwari talked about genocide, and she did a lecture here in this space. So, and then the Friday before, this last Friday, we did a program about students' rights and ICE policy. So this space has been just really used for so many things, and I'm really proud of that.
Wow. I feel like I only use the library for specific things, and it's like through this conversation I'm learning a bit more about the library. I wonder even if we're talking about the same library. That's funny. But okay, that's really cool. Even though it happened 2 years ago, but you were able to see something that was dear to your heart happen before you retire. So
yeah,
that's on its own, it's a victory.
It's a victory that we got. You know, once we got this space, it's being used, and when I leave, it will continue to be used. Yes. Programs will continue to be held here. Yes.
Finally,
yeah.
I have one more question for you. If there is one thing that you want the MSU community to remember you for, what would it be?
What are they? I think that I was creative, that I had ideas, you know, that I created things like helping to create this space, and that I was a connector, and that I brought people together to, you know, to create the ideas that I came up with. So I think, you know, that I was a creative person, and I was a person who worked with others to make these ideas become real. I think I'd like to be remembered like that.
Oh, that's cool. Well, thank you for taking the time to do this interview.
Yeah.